option to? Oh, there we go. There it is right there. All right, so go live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast, fully fermented Redux. Of course, I'm Ray. Tom Nutty's joining me tonight, and unfortunately, he's got to join me on his phone because he had a power outage the other night. If you remember a regular episode, Tom unfortunately couldn't join us because he didn't have power. But now he tried to turn on his computer, and it was just kind of like, no, bitch, this is not happening.
That power outage ended up being it got pretty dicey at the house. It got down to 38 degrees inside the house.
Really? Holy shit.
All my heat's electric. You know, my furnace, everything runs off of that. And they told us originally it would be back on by like 7. So I didn't go into panic mode and go, start turning heaters out. And then around 8:30, they sent another update out that said it should be back on by 11 p.m. the following night.
Oh, fuck.
And it was like 11 degrees up here, and it just sucked heat right out of the house. So the family went and stayed with some friends, and I camped out at the house with dogs to make sure nothing broke. And we just like played I Am Legend all night,
That's good shit. That's good shit. You're like, I'm going to do this like a man. And plus, did the dogs sleep with you too? Because the dogs, I'm sure, between all the body heat of you and the dogs, that probably kept plenty of fucking warmth, with all that shit. I didn't know it got that cold in there, man. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Like I was up most of the night down in the basement. I got like just a little torch, and I was keeping the pipes warm downstairs to try to prevent a major catastrophe in the basement.
Yeah, the dogs are just looking at you like, look at this fucking idiot with a blowtorch, fucking blowtorching pipes or whatever. Like,
that's the look I got all night,
Jesus Christ. And it's funny, like, was that due to the snow or whatever that we had gotten, that like random snowstorm?
Well, a little bit of snow you got in Baltimore, because I was working in Baltimore Saturday during the day. And it wasn't too bad. It was the snow wise, like it pretty much melted as soon as it hit. It stuck to a little shit.
Yeah.
Up here, like after the snow went through, it turned to ice. And like all the power lines and all the trees and everything were so weighed down. And then that wind came in right behind it. And I mean, it was, like all of Hanover was out for most of Saturday. Jesus. Like traffic lights, everything were out.
Wow. Dude, that's fucking crazy. Like, because I went out, like I filed my taxes on Saturday, which sadly enough, I owe the feds fucking $884, which fucking sucks. But, that's what happens when you're a reseller. So now I'm just going to do, with reselling, you can do quarterly payments. So now it's just kind of like, well, fuck, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. But I also went out and got my hair cut. And we were talking a little bit beforehand, of course, I'm clean shaven, I always shave whenever I get my hair cut, and I let it grow back. My wife actually hates it when I don't have a beard, but I went, and normally I just go to Great Clips, whatever, because I don't get anything fantastic done with my hair. I was going to my barber friend there for a bit, but then, it was in Dundalk. I didn't feel like driving into Dundalk. And so I went to Great Clips, and it was closed due to the snow. And I'm like, well, there's nothing on the fucking, so I was like, all right, drove around the corner and went to Hair Cuttery. I should have known. I walked in there and there wasn't a single fucking soul in there. So I get my hair cut. Vietnamese woman is in there. She cuts my hair. So there was a big language barrier. Like, I don't think she understood what the word fade meant. So she cut my hair, and I was like, I want the sides shorter, but leave the top a little bit longer, so she shaved the sides pretty much and then just left the hair on like the top, like right here. And there's a lot of gray here, so it looks a lot worse than what it actually is. But like the hair is just kind of like flopped down like I'm some sort of like Russian fucking general or some fucking shit like that. And I'm like, I told Jess, I was like, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go and just get my hair, rest of, just one or two, all over. And she's like, why? She's like, you can wear hats at work, and you wear hats all the time. Just fucking give it a week or two and let it fucking even itself out. And, there it is. But I'm just kind of like, motherfucker, like, what the fuck? And then, of course, we had it on our website. Of course, Scott Hall from WWE passed away yesterday, tragically, which, anybody, of course, everybody knows, my pro wrestling roots, my pro wrestling heritage, that hit me kind of hard because growing up, Razor Ramon was really big. And also Scott Hall kind of, he led, he was the guy who kind of started, the Attitude Era and the Monday Night War. Him showing up on Nitro saying, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. And also he was the guy who kind of fought WCW for a bigger payday, which initially led to the guys getting the paydays and all that they get now in the wrestling business. So yeah, definitely shout out to the family of Scott Hall, and thank you for all the memories and all that you've given wrestling fans all over the world, because no one's ever going to forget Scott Hall, and that's for sure. And
I'm not a huge wrestling fan, but I'll say he's got one of my favorite quotes, and it might have been at the Hall of Fame, but it was like, "Bad times don't last, but bad guys do." That's one of the coolest things anybody's ever said.
The whole thing was hard work pays off.
Right.
Dreams come true, bad times end, but bad guys don't. And that was the exact thing. And that always resonated with me. And, Tom, when you started your podcast, I always told everybody, I was like, just work hard, just do it, bust your ass. And I mean, as I said before, 3 people could see this, 30,000 people could see this. Either way, I'm going to bust my ass and keep on putting out the best product I possibly can, because I come from a hard work environment. And, speaking of which, this is, fully fermented Redux. So, of course, tonight's episode is Tyler Maine. So at the very end, we were able to go out to Horrifying Convention in 2012. We snagged a bunch of interviews with a couple of different people. None of them were really substantially long. Tyler Maine's, I think, is about 3 minutes. So at the very end of this, you'll see that interview with Tyler Maine. Of course, Tyler Maine was also known as Big Sky in World Championship Wrestling, and he teamed with Kevin Nash. So, it was cool, that he had the pro wrestling background, amongst other things. And also, he was Sabretooth in X-Men. And you remember X-Men was kind of the beginning of superhero movies coming into popularity. And, he did that. And then also, to me, actor-wise, he was my favorite Michael Myers. Well, actually, no, James Jude Courtney, the current Michael Myers, is my favorite. But I always felt like Michael Myers, Jason, characters like that should be a gigantic man that plays that character. Because if they're bending people in half or ripping their arms off or, doing all, you need to have a big man play, that character. So I think, him playing Michael Myers was really amazing too. And I think also he had a Rowan Alexander as well. So, just getting it done. And I mean, speaking of which, it's crazy, looking back, X-Men, like, how much and how far, like how much time, like those movies are almost like 20 years old now.
Like, maybe more.
Yeah, and I mean, what's her name? Famke or Famke Jensen or whatever. Like, I remember, I'm not sure she got it fixed, but she had some plastic surgery done not too long ago. Oh, dude, like she was a beautiful woman. And let me tell you this now, even my wife was like, oh my God, she looks so good. And I can tell you this now, she is not going to show up in Multiverse of Madness as Jean Grey. That ain't going to happen.
Surgery. I don't know when the last time you saw Little Kim was, the rapper.
Yeah.
Have you seen her recently?
No, I have not. Not.
She looks like Michael Jackson. I'm not kidding at all. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, it was wild. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to jump off the X-Men thing, but it just made me think of it.
Yeah, dude, like what is it with these celebrities and getting bad work done? Like you make hundreds of millions of dollars a year or more, or why go somewhere and have someone put, Fix-A-Flat in your face? Like, I mean, Christ, we had the guy who stuck Fix-A-Flat in his penis. Like, why would you stick Fix-A-Flat in your fucking face? Like, I don't understand. Like, God, like I'm trying to think who are some of the other ones who had terrible plastic surgery. Oh, the dude from The Weeknd. That dude was a fucking horror show. Like, like when he did it, especially like he had that one video, like the one video, and he had the one performance. I think it was at the VMAs or something. It might have been the Super Bowl, and he had all these people like with fucking bandaged up faces and shit like that. And I was like, you know what? If there are lizards dressed up like people, he is one of them, because that skin is not fitting right. Like that skin is like the fucking skin from fucking Men in Black. Like he needs to pull that shit back and go there better. You know,
I say that the Men in Black thing, like that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it was so bad. And I mean, his like the bone, like it looked like his bone was like reshifted. Like his face was all like just kind of permanently stuck, you know, in a certain position. I don't understand though, dude, because there's so many people, like so many celebrities, or just people in general, they're just naturally good looking people. And then they're just kind of like, well, we need all like me, like the Kardashians. They're not attractive to me. I've never been attractive to the Kardashians. They're too fake for me. Like I'm just kind of like no. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a good set of big fake tits. Don't get me wrong, but you know that's about as far as I go. Like you know, if Jessica came to me and was like, "Oh, I think I want to have my nose done," or you know, like I think she said before, like she wanted to get like lip injections or whatever, and I was like, "Why? Like what the fuck? Like no, like it makes no sense. Don't do that. Like you know, you're fine how you are. Like."
I can't wrap my head around it unless it's like some sort of corrective plastic surgery, you know, something, a fucking defect. But other than that, just let it rock, guys. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the thing. Like I could see if it was like I got into an accident and lost this part of my face. Like I need to have it reconstructed or whatever, which of course, you know, they're going to take like your ass meat off and restructure your face with like fucking ass flab. Like, I mean, that's just the whole thing. Like, I mean, that like, you know, and it's weird because I don't know anybody, because I know like my wife, she has like steel plates in the back of her head because, you know, she had brain surgery when she was younger to remove like a mass out of her, you know, when she was 17. But it's kind of thing that like when people have reconstructive surgery like that, like, you know, how people have like steel rods in their legs and their arms and stuff. I wonder if like they could make like a steel, like, you know, like reconstruct part of your skull and like half like Terminator skull. And like that's just solid right there, because when they reconstruct your face, I don't think they like do anything like that. But it's like, how come you can do it? Like you can do titanium for like, you know, Jason's arm, but you can't do like a titanium, like, you know, orbital bone, like that needs to be like replaced or whatever and all that. And he just looked like fucking like Kano from fucking Mortal Kombat.
I don't think we're too far off from that, honestly. Like I think we'll like that in our lifetime for sure.
Oh yeah, without question. Like that, it's one of those things that this dude like goes to a fucking like scrapyard or whatever and walks too close to the magnet and fucking just goes in the air and his face is stuck to the fucking magnet. He's just kicking his legs like, hey, let me down. Let me the fuck down.
Put my face down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think we'll definitely see wild shit like that in our lifetime.
Oh yeah. Yeah, without question. Like
I hope so anyway. Like we came up at the same time, and you know you grew up on superhero movies and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, it conditioned us. Like we're ready for it. Okay, start giving shit.
And you know so back to the stuff with your house. So does this mean now are you debating on whether or not it's worth buying a generator?
Oh, we'll definitely have a generator before next winter. I'll probably get it installed over the summer. The summer I'm not too worried about because at least nothing's gonna fucking break and shit when the power goes out. You know? Yeah,
well, I mean, still you got to look at it like this too. Like a fridge full of food, like that's like $1,000 right there. Like, you know, before it'd be like, oh, that's just $300 worth of groceries. Now it's like a gold mine worth of fucking groceries. That's like, you know, inside the fridge, you know, in case that shit goes down.
It's funny when the wife and kids came home when the power came back on. Now, like I said at the beginning, right? It got down to like 38 degrees in my house. Okay.
My wife would be dying. She would be fucking dying, dude.
Bro, the first thing that she asked me when she got home was, do you think the food in the fridge is still good? I said, it was 38 degrees in the fucking living room.
I can open the doors. Yeah.
Fridge and warm up. Like it was, the food is fine. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is with fridges anyways, isn't it? Like, I think if the doors are closed, it's like a good, like, 48 hours or something like that. The food will stay fresh, especially in a freezer. Like I have a big lift top freezer and, you know, and luckily knock on wood where we live, we have rarely ever lost power. I don't know how the hell it happens, but we get some bad storms, and we have like our wires like look very untrusting whenever a storm rolls through, but we barely ever lose power. Like there's been times I've done the podcast and we've been having fucking just hell on earth, like fucking World War 17 going on outside, or a hurricane or some shit. And like I'm just sitting there talking to somebody on a podcast, and it's like, well, I can see the internet or something like that dropping at any point. And no, I mean, so we're very lucky with that we haven't really had to deal a lot with that.
I'll be honest with you, I've been up this part of the world for like the last 13 years, and it's pretty rare that we get any kind of outage, much less a one. But like I think the longest I've had it before this was like a couple hours, But this one was legit. I was like, oh God.
Well, I think what it is too is I think like as they're doing work, like I heard something that apparently they're going through and they're replacing like all the old wiring. Like they now have like, more like kind of almost like a fiber optic type cabling that they use now that like, are more sustainable to like, cold conditions and ice and wind and, all that shit that, the old cables, you can tell the old cables because those will snap right off and like fucking spark on the ground, like fucking flying in the air and all that shit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it's weird. It's weird how all that works. I don't know the first thing about electricity. The main thing I know about electricity is to make sure the breaker's off before you do anything electrical. And that's it. That's as far as it goes. And
probably around 10 o'clock Saturday night, the people across the street, like the other side of my street, all their power came back on.
Really?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess it's how the grid's set up, whatever. But like,
yeah.
Staring 100 feet across the street at people with lights, and I'm like, God damn!
You're like motherfucker. You're just laying on your floor in a fetal position, shivering, like you look like Jack at the end of fucking The Shining, like with all the ice and all that shit, like coming off your nose and your face and all that. Meanwhile, these fuckers have fucking power. Like if anything, it may be cold in their place, but eventually the lights are gonna start warming shit down because now that it's fucking bright in there, like.
So that was more frustrating than anything.
Oh man, but. And I mean that's the thing, like it's weird too though with generators, because you get people every so often that like you'll get that one guy that keeps his generator like in his garage or like keep it inside or whatever, and the next thing the whole family's dead and they're just like, well, why? And it's like, well, I mean a generator, you do realize that's almost like starting a car inside of a house. It's almost like suicide by car. You might as well at that point, just when you start it up, put a fucking vacuum hose on it and just put it right through your living room window and be like, all right, I'm going to breathe this in now. It's time to take a long nap,
forever nap.
Now with that, for your house, like you have kind of a bigger house out there. So like what kind of generator, like, are you going to need to power your whole house? So can you get a smaller one, or do you need to get like one of those big like cock diesel like generators? Or
I'm gonna end up getting a smaller one, because I was talking to a friend of mine, he's an electrician. I'm gonna end up getting a smaller one, basically like not much bigger than like a job site generator.
Yeah.
And the only thing it's gonna power is gonna be the furnace and the like refrigerator and the priority shit. The rest of the stuff I'm not worried about, But really, if we run the furnace and like the fridge, the rest of it's all, cosmetic. I'm not worried about.
It'd be great if you had a man shed and like you lose power completely, but instead of powering the house, like, the dogs, your wife and your kids are like freezing to death, and you just have power on in the man shed and you're just sitting in there with heat drinking, and they're just like, God damn it, we're dying. Come over here and turn a goddamn generator.
How can you never lose power in the studio? I don't know. It's
weird. So like, dude, like, and you said you said what, your brother, who you said one of your friends built your computer, the one that you have, or your brother-in-law?
My brother-in-law.
Yeah. So I guess he's gonna need to just geek squad that thing, see what's going on or whatever. Yeah.
He loves it. He loves that shit anyway. Like he likes when shit breaks.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything
about
it. Like as soon as it didn't turn on, I was like, well, that's the extent of my knowledge.
Right? I'm the same way. It would have been like Google, boop, 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 boop. It is doing this. What happened? And then Google just goes, it's dead, you fucking moron. And it's just like, okay, well, then it's dead.
Well, he is my Google, right? So like, I'm not even wasting time with Google. I literally took a video of what it was doing and I sent it to him. I was like, oh.
Help. That's the best. She just said, so help. And my wife has done that to me before. Like she'll see like a bug and like, I'll be down here. And like, of course, if I'm like doing something like this, like, you know, I would hear a bunch of noise upstairs, like a snow shovel or something being like smacked around because she's trying to kill like, you know, a moth with like a snow shovel or something like that. But there will be times like I'll be down here doing other stuff and like I'll just get a picture and it'll be like of a bug and I'll just say help. And like or just something random, like, you know, the dog won't come in and it'll be a picture of like the dog out back and they'll just say help. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, you know, I guess, you know, this is your cry for help. Let me just come right on up here and just, you know, bail you out of whatever you need help with. So, but she actually she did that before I came home. I had a wrestling show and I got home and it was kind of late. I think it was probably about like 11:30, 12 o'clock. I got home and there was like a snow shovel randomly out. This is when we lived at our apartment. There was a snow shovel just randomly laying in the middle of the floor. And she was like in the bedroom sleeping. Like the next morning, I asked her, I was like, why the fuck is the snow shovel out? And she's like, oh, I saw a cricket. So she like beat it to death with the snow shovel. But then she left like it's like smashed corpse on the floor because she couldn't like she couldn't get it together to like pick up its dead body. So she's like, well, at that point, I just went to sleep. So like she like brutally murdered this cricket with a snow shovel and then just retreated to the bedroom and went to bed. And it was just kind of like, okay, well, you know, husband will just deal with that when, you know, he gets home. It's safe to walk past the dead. We get sprickets in our house now every summer. Oh my God, dude, she fucking hates those things. Like, no, and no matter what I've done, every year those fucking demonic bastards fucking come back. And I mean, you know, for anybody who's never seen a spricket, it like if you've ever seen like a fucking cricket and a spider, like just take it and mix it together, and it is something just fueled by nightmare. Like I get them in my basement. So what I'll do a lot is I'll pick them up with like a paper towel or toilet paper, and like flushing them down the toilet doesn't satisfy me anymore. So I have like my dump sink down there. So what I do is I throw them in the dump sink and then I turn the water on, and they're like super high pressure water in that thing. So like they're sitting there like trying to hop out the water, but their like little legs get wet or whatever. So they can't like hop as high. And then like I'll just see them and like we'll make eye contact. And then like they just go and they just go down the drain. And I'm just kind of like, well, au revoir. Like, see you later, Spricket. Like, stay the hell out of my house.
One time I came home from work or wherever I was, and I wanted to go jump in the shower, and there was like all these little spots of shaving cream like on the wall, and then like in the corner of the tub.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, what in the fuck is this? Whatever. Took my shower. I got out and I asked the wife, I was like, what is the fucking shaving cream? And there was a moth in the shower, and she was trying to like squirt the shaving cream. And then she finally got it, and it was in the corner. That had just left a fucking pile of shaving cream. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you.
That's fucking great.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
That is fucking excellent. Like, and of course, this was a woman thing too. And I didn't know that. Like, my wife's the only person I've ever seen do this, but apparently, like, almost all women do this. Is putting their hair on the side of the wall in the fucking shower.
Yeah,
like, they're loose hair. They'll put it. You just go in and fucking. It looks like they killed fucking Thing from fucking Adam's Family and like fucking crucified him to the fucking wall. And I'm just kind of like, I'm just always like, why is it? And it like that's the. And she'll wait for it to dry, and then it just comes right off. So like sometimes I'll get in the shower right after her, and there's just wet hair just on the wall, and I'm just kind of like, why is there wet hair on that? Like we got into so many arguments because our drain will clog due to her hair. And I think she would do it on purpose. And what'll happen is she would hear me in the shower plunging, cussing out loud, plunging the fuck out of this thing because her hair was in there. And eventually I went and got these nets, and I was like, you fucking use these or else I'm going to be conjuring your flesh out of this fucking drain. Like that's the way it's going to fucking work. But no, man. I mean, it's always fun. Married life is always fun. But you think of those little things that you can do to annoy the shit out of whoever you're married to. Like my wife hates it when like my nose is stuffed up and I have the sniffles. So like I'll sit down right next to her and start sniffling and shit. And then she's just kind of like, Ray, really? Like that's disgusting. And I think Tom may have frozen up, which yes, he is stuck in this position right here. So Tom Nutty is frozen. He is frozen in time. So what I'm gonna do is actually we're nearing towards the end of the show anyway. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let Tom go ahead and get out of here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start our vintage content. And then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. And keep in mind, everybody, we will be right here again live on YouTube Live this coming Friday at 6:30 p.m. That is when the stream begins. That's when our pre-show begins. That is with Mr. D, Fashion Guru. He will be joining us. And then again, March 26th, we will be live. Our special guest will be adult film star Jocelyn James. She will be joining us at 8:00 p.m. right here on YouTube Live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get everything in order, and I'm going to go ahead and fire up the vintage content for you guys featuring Tyler Maine. So let me just go ahead, get all this in order, and then I'll fire that up for you, and we will go ahead and rock and roll with that content. So once again, make sure you click the subscribe button down at the bottom of the screen and subscribe to all of our content. And also you can find whenever we're going to be live right there exclusively. So without further ado, here's our interview with Tyler Maine from the Horrifying Convention. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we will see you guys next time. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Ray from Happy Hour TV. We're still at the Horrifying Fest. I'm sitting here with a rather large man, the man who played Sabretooth and Michael Myers in Halloween, Tyler Maine. Tyler, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
All right, it's Happy Hour TV. I like that. That's good.
So you like to drink? What's your drink of choice?
It depends on the mood. Usually Jack Daniels, Gentleman Jack. I go to wine every once in a while or a good beer.
Now, in your movie, did you find being Michael Myers or being Sabretooth to be the more complicated of the two?
It took a lot longer to get ready for Sabretooth. It took about 4 hours of makeup to get ready with the prosthetics and everything. I like Michael Myers to just pull on the mask, but they're two totally different roles. I mean, Michael Myers is such an iconic character, and he'd been portrayed before. And I wanted to just bring something different to the role, whereas Sabretooth was a comic book character, so.
Now, if Sabretooth and Michael Myers were to ever get into a fight, who do you think would take the fight ultimately in the end?
I don't know. That'd be me kicking the shit out of myself, wouldn't it?
Now, you spent some time in WCW. You used to team with Kevin Nash. Do you still stay in contact with Kevin today?
I just saw Kevin a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Does Kevin still like to drink as much as he normally does?
We were sitting in the bar.
And did you ever think, before you did movies and all that, or even, now, would you ever consider going back and doing professional wrestling at any point?
Oh, no. I did 11 and a half years of pro wrestling all over the world, WCW, UWF, wrestled in Japan several times, wrestled in Germany, Austria, England. I saw the world. It was great, but it beats the hell out of your body.
Now, you teaming up with Kevin Nash, was that your idea, or was that WCW's idea? Were you guys friends beforehand and just said, hey, we're both tall guys, let's be a tag team? How did that go down?
It was WCW, and then they said, here's two tall guys, let's put them together, So I was like, okay, cool.
All right, thanks a lot, Tyler. We're going to let you get back to what you're doing. This is Happy Hour TV. I'm out.